Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mediocracy Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Charlie, and today I'm joined by Chance.
Hey!
And Tristin.
Sup, girl?
The Mediocrity Podcast is a podcast by some amateur gamers, and we're going to discuss all the interesting gaming news that's come out over the past week or so.
Like Destiny's new trailer?
And the mono edition of Grid 2.
We're also going to be covering stuff like Peter Molyneux's lies and E3. Alright, so we're going to cover some different segments every show. And the first segment we're going to do now is very breaking news. Peter Molyneux's Curiosity game, What's Inside the Cube, has recently concluded. Basically, this was something that was started back in September, and it's ran for over 100 days. Basically, what it was a game that you could download, and the gameplay basically involved clicking on a cube until layers of the cube broke down. Now, everyone thought that what was going to happen was you got to the end of the game, or the center of the cube, and something basically life-changing would happen. That's how Molyneux described it. So today, someone finally got to the center of that cube. So Peter Molyneux's game, so this Curiosity game was won by Brian Henderson from Edinburgh. Basically, what was inside the cube was instructions to email Molyneux's company 22 cans and do an email request. At the end of all this process, what was posted was a video of Peter Molyneux talking about his next upcoming game, Godus. Godus is going to be a game similar to the Black and White series that Molyneux has already worked on, and it is a spiritual sequel to Populous, one of his first popular games. This man from Edinburgh is basically going to be a god who controls the game world while other people are playing the game, which is something just absolutely mind-boggling. You can see that there's a lot of potential for this to go wrong, but this is very, very interesting, and it's something that hasn't been done by anybody before, is to have a god game where there actually is one person on the internet playing the god of the game.
He's also making money off of it, too. He is getting, not a lot, but a tiny amount of the funds that come back from this.
That's right. So Molyneux advertised it as a life-changing experience, and I guess it would be if the game sells a lot. But judging from the reactions I've seen, people aren't generally too excited because, like I said, there's a lot of potential for one person to ruin everyone's experience in this game. I don't know how exactly they're going to deal with this problem. There's probably going to be some pretty extensive measures used to control this guy's behavior, I guess.
Because I was going to say, can he just fuck them completely over on this? Just dick around?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be possible, but at the same time, it's probably in the confines of something that's been designed into the game so that it's not too destructive.
He gave, no explanation, whatsoever. He's just you're God. That's it. You're God. And that is not detailed at all. It seems like he's giving,
This could just be another one of Molyneux's lies. Yes, you might play a god, this man from Scotland, but the thing is how much power is he really going to have? Because, like I said, you could just ruin the game for everyone. So there must be some kind of control, but to what extent, I don't know.
Every time he releases a game, there's some massive lie, and I think this might be possibly the biggest lie he's ever told, if it's a lie. If it turns out not to be true, where he's now promising that someone gets to be god of a game.
This is really risky stuff in general. I mean, just think of the possibility. Anyone could have won this game. If some neo-Nazi from the KKK South in the USA won this game, do you really, really think that it would be wise to give him dominion over a product that other people have bought with their hard-earned money? At the same time, basically the only thing I can say about this concretely is that it's not going to be as revolutionary as Molyneux promised. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is that maybe he'll get a character that's better than everyone else's, or maybe he'll have some control over the game, but there just has to be control. Otherwise, this product is going to sink.
I remember with Fable, every single Fable game that's ever come out, so many lies, especially Fable 3. He gets really into his concepts and starts, just gets so excited that he starts touting, all of these concepts like they're actual mechanics.
I mean, this might not even go anywhere because he says that the game's going to come out. But if you remember Project Milo from E3 a while back, this revolutionary new AI where you can interact with this little boy as if he's just a real living person. Yeah, fucking right, Molyneux. Because if you made that game, it would be on a PC. There's no fucking way.
Imagine how creepy that would be. Like, you're 45 and like your wife walks in and you're just talking to a little boy, like just sitting in a dark room, no light coming in, like you just got a beer and you're just talking to this little boy.
Let's think of something else though. I mean, getting back to this whole Godus concept, what happens if this guy just decides to fuck it? What if he just decides, this game is boring.
Fuck the game?
Sucks. Yeah, just I'm not even gonna play it anymore. Then what happens? Or what if he dies?
It's like real life. God just gives up on us. The Godus, and God us.
Yeah, the God us.
That's gonna constantly sound like Godus, no matter how many times I say it.
And the Wii U will always sound like a fucking police siren, so it doesn't matter.
But the thing with Godus is, I thought that every character was going to be like their own god, and then he comes out now and he's saying like this guy's going to be the god of all gods. Like
he's going to be Zeus, I guess. He's going to be like the fucking top god.
I really
it's a god eat god world out there.
He's OP.
So that was the breaking news from today, and we're going to see some other gaming news that was recently published.
Choo choo, all aboard the hype train!
On the other news, Bungie just released a new teaser trailer for their upcoming game, Destiny. It starts off with like a story being told by Gilbert from Community. We don't know much about the trailer except that there's a constant war going on in order to claim the solar system. The trailer was released on May 24th. Although the trailer has no real gameplay, the story is really cool, and for some reason it towards the end of the trailer, you see that the Bungie's going to be releasing new gameplay, actual gameplay for that matter, at E3 at Sony's press conference on June 10th.
The second Bungie got out of that like deal with Microsoft that they made 10 years ago, they're just going straight for Sony. Yeah. Like that must feel like a slap to the face for Microsoft right now. But also, this is one of the first pieces of footage we've actually seen of Destiny. It's looking pretty good. Looks like it has potential, but like we're gonna have to wait till E3 to see.
But then you get to another part, which is, yes, Microsoft's bad influence might be gone, but Activision is looming in the background, and they might be waiting to milk this series dry like they have with Guitar Hero.
I didn't like how at the end of the trailer it said, like, Bungie, creators of Halo. And then it said Activision, who published the acclaimed Call of Duty series. I didn't like seeing that. I was like, yeah, they're going to milk this.
Yeah, it could just be how they ruled over Call of Duty, how they want to rule over Bungie now.
Bringing Call of Duty into the end of your trailer does not actually make a seal of quality. What that means is you're basically just partnering up with a company that's known for recycling and destroying shit.
Our other story is...
Alright, so Grid 2 a few days ago announced that they're going to have the most expensive special edition ever. It's called the Grid 2 Mono Edition. It's $190,000 and it comes with an actual sports car, race car. The thing is, it comes with the race car, it comes with like the jacket and everything, the helmet, doesn't come with a license. We're not even sure if it's street legal because they didn't make that clear. There's only going to be one of them, but it doesn't come with any of the pre-order DLC, or any of the DLC for that matter. Which begs the question, why? I have to pre-order it, I'm spending $190,000, but no DLC?
The thought process behind this cannot be comprehended by the mere mortal who's thinking, you buy a car! It is a fucking... You can put gasoline in that car and you can drive around. You literally could.
If it's street legal.
Well, you could take it to a racetrack anyway.
That's
you
true.
could always tow it. The thing I'm trying to say is, are you kidding me? You don't even get the DLC with it?
But you get a cool race suit.
Well, you get the... Alright.
You can wear it while playing the game without the DLC.
So, like, $190,000 in, and then, like, 2 months after the game comes out, you have to shell out another $15 because it can come with DLC.
See, here's the thing as well, is that car doesn't look street legal. It doesn't even have a windshield. At the same time, though, they could have just partnered with, like, another car manufacturer. They could have gone over to Ford or to Nissan or whoever and said, hey, you have a sports car, you have a GTR, or you have a Mustang. Can you let me use one of those to sell my game? And you know what? It would have been cheaper. Maybe they could have actually fucking included the DLC as well.
They also said that you have to pre-order this, but there's only going to be one, which doesn't make a lot of sense, because is this going to be, like, they weren't clear on it, but if multiple people pre-order this, is it first come first serve, or is there going to be, like, different offers? Like, it's going to start at 190,000, and people are going to have to keep trying to get, like, they're going to have to start betting higher prices for this.
That would be amazing, to actually watch an eBay-style auction unfold on this car that you probably can't even drive down your street.
They say it's a race car, but no one's seen this thing in action. All that anyone's seen of this is just a picture, and not anyone in the car, just a picture of it.
The picture might even be a 3D model. Maybe the car's not even built yet.
The car did look, like, in the picture, proportion-wise, it looks like a gaming chair. And when I first saw it, I didn't read, like, the actual title of the article. I went into the article, I looked at it, and it looked like it was just a gaming chair.
It's just a high-tech lawn chair.
They didn't even say if this race car is going to be high-tech or not. Like, there's no specs on it or anything. Just, it comes with a car. Give us your money. Alright, so I've been playing Injustice Gods Among Us, which is a multi-platform 2.5D fighting game, which includes DC characters, mainly the Justice League, but there are a few other characters, like they're villains from other comics. It's created by the creators of Mortal Kombat. Ed Boon, I believe, was heading up that game, heading up the game's development. It's a pretty fun game. For a first effort, after they did Mortal Kombat versus DC, it was pretty good. I was surprised by the depth. The controls are a little simplified, but it is still fun to play. It's a game you can pick up and play. Like, it's not like Street Fighter. You're not going to be stuck if you don't know how to do button combos. You can button mash. You're not going to get extremely far, but you can win a few sparring matches with your friends. So one thing about Injustice that I thought was strange was that there's not 2 rounds like with most standard fighting games. Everyone has an armored bar, which is basically a second bar on top of their health bar. And when you lose that, it runs through a little knockdown animation, and then one character will taunt the other, and then it'll continue fighting. But it's sort of like having a second round, except it doesn't work exactly like that. Like, you can't punch someone past it. Like, I can't knock down your health past your armor bar.
Yeah, the animation has to play before you can get up and hit someone again. And unlike a second round, both of you don't start fully healed. You start off where you left off. So if the guy who just took away your armor still has half of his armor left, that continues on to the second half of the fight. And
then you have to play through the same animation again, but reversed, because we have to wait until he gets knocked down.
And that's the thing, too, is that some of the moves in this game are very powerful, but if you use them while your opponent is at the end of his armor bar, what happens is the game basically shuts itself off. It says, no, you can't damage him until the animation plays.
Even if you do your super.
Yeah, so you do a really powerful attack, but it only gets rid of a smidgen of his armor bar.
Which is a strategy I used in the game, which I never used my super, like, until their armor was completely gone, because I knew it would just stop at a certain point and just wouldn't win. It wouldn't help me win at all. Another thing about the game is that there's a lot of moves that are spammy. Like, Deathstroke has a move where he fires a gun, which does a lot of damage, like more than it should do, and he can just spam it from, like, one end of the map, and it will hit you unless you block. Aquaman also has a move like this, but he can combo into it, where he can shove his spear into the ground and it will hit you from the other side of the map. Like, it'll home in on you, and then he can combo into that by shocking you with lightning, and then continue doing this. Which seems a little unfair, like that he doesn't even have to get close to you to activate this.
Well, there have always been ranged characters in fighting games. I mean, Dhalsim from Street Fighter is an example. And yeah, it's always going to happen that there's always going to be that one guy who spams Hadokens in your direction until you die. But in general, I did find the game, I mean, at least with certain characters that had... I did find the game pretty interesting, though. I mean, some maps include ranged options, so even for characters who don't really have that strong suit, that don't even have ranged attacks, you can still use the environment to your advantage. So if you press the right bumper at certain parts of the map, you can still attack your enemy from range. I remember there was one map I was playing where you were underwater and you could send out a kind of torrent of water against your enemy to knock them down from far, which would still help you if you were playing someone like Bane, who doesn't really have a lot of projectile moves.
Green Lantern and Sinestro both have 2 moves where they'll literally just shoot an energy ball, and they can just spam the crap out of this. Green Arrow is the same way. I believe that Shazam and Black Adam both have moves where they can also shock you with lightning. These are just examples of moves that don't require a lot of effort, that can hit you without even having to get in close with the move. Almost every character has a move like this, except for Flash, who is one of the only characters who has to really get in close to do all of his combos.
So, what's your opinion on this game? Should we at least try it, or is this something that we should definitely buy, despite the problem?
If you are a fighting game fan, there's parts of this game that you are going to enjoy, but if you're not if you don't typically play this type of genre of game, you're not going to find a lot that's going to change your opinion on it. But for everyone else, it's worth a rent. Most people aren't gonna love it off the bat. It's more of just a call out for people who enjoy DC comics and whatnot. The game really isn't gonna appeal to players who are into typically more lengthy fighting games like Street Fighter 4 or Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
That's pretty cool. I'd like to say I've been playing Dead Space 3, but at the same time I'm super disappointed. Because if you look at the other 2 games, they're really well put together, and it's more of a fear-based game. But the third one's just, they try to make it so action-based, and, once again, you're still Isaac, and you're trying to find these markers, and you're going for the machine that basically shuts them all down to save the world again, because you never know what's happening. And it ruined the series for me, and I'm slowly trying to get by it.
I've always liked Dead Space for the control scheme, because it does have a little bit of realism to it. I like the way he runs and shoots, and it always had this sense of you're really in danger.
Here's the thing though, is that the horror aspect it did have left, they tried to monetize it. So you have microtransactions in the game where you can buy more things to help you survive. That's just ridiculous. It takes away all of the elements of survival horror, and you're just hey, you really need something? Are you really stressed about this situation right now? Well, how about you just buy some health? Or how about you just buy some ammo for $9.99?
Well, let's not forget the glitch that they made in the game, purposely left in the game, where you can just keep going in this room and keep finding new material.
In defense of Visceral Games, they had no choice against this. This is purely EA's choice to monetize on this game, and so that's why they did it. They actually did go out and say that they put this glitch in there on purpose. They didn't say it exactly like it's intended. They just said that they're never going to patch this glitch, that it's always going to stay.
That's something that I think more developers should do, is find a way behind the publisher's back and say, you know what? You're ruining my game. Here you go, fans. At least we compensated you with something.
I wish DICE would do that with Battlefield so badly.
I wish everyone would do that. Talk to us, basically, the straight and narrow about Dead Space 3. Should we play it? Should we buy it even? Should we rent it? Is it worth it now?
I'll just throw this out there. It's not a game for everyone, because if you're more on the action side, the first 2 games definitely don't really provide as much. But the third game definitely has what everyone is looking for sure. Yeah, it's a game that people should look into buying.
But then it's not a survival horror. If you're a fan of Silent Hill, you shouldn't expect the same thing in this game, right?
No.
All right.
So, Charlie, what games are you now playing?
I'm only playing one game. I'm playing Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. Surprisingly, it works very well on the PC. I mean, obviously the controls in a racing game aren't going to be as fluid without the analog sticks or with a wheel. However, even with a keyboard, I find that the controls are very responsive. The racing feels good. It feels extremely fast. And unlike the more modern Need for Speed games, especially the ones developed by Criterion, the turning is so quick and so precise that you can literally feel how fast you're entering a corner. I mean, compared to the other games where you basically have to drift to make a corner, this game feels so fresh, even though it's from 2005.
It brings up the point that I'm really tired that developers keep taking out the numbers in their sequels, because now you have to say Most Wanted 2005, because in 2012, Criterion released Need for Speed Most Wanted also. What's your opinion on this game? Do you think it's like one of the best ones in the series? Do you think it's worth buying again if people haven't purchased it in the past?
I wouldn't say it's the best game in the series because I haven't played all of them, but out of the Need for Speed games I have played, it's definitely one of the best feeling. I've been playing this game for about 5 days now, and I'm still not at the end of the single player. Now, the multiplayer is pretty much dead, and you're not going to find people playing it online, but really, it's worth playing for the single player. Also, if you're on PC, the longevity of the game gets increased a lot if you're using mods. I don't really recommend that you buy it because the game's going to be used anyway. You're not giving any money to Criterion. If you're on PC, give it a pirate. If you can find it at your rental store, rent it. But once I'm going to be done the campaign, the game's basically over. Today we looked at some pieces of gaming news. We know that Grid 2 is going to be ridiculously expensive, or at least the pre-order version, because it comes with a car. We know that Peter Molyneux's Cube game is actually an advertisement for his new title, Godus, in which the winner of the Cube game is going to be the titular god controlling the actual game world. We also looked up Mudgy's new game Destiny, which is really interesting because we know that more of the game, including gameplay footage, is going to be revealed at Sony's press conference. Amazing how Bungie is kind of leaving Microsoft in the dust right now.
Gasp!
Not too far away is E3, and we're probably going to give you some really intense coverage of what goes on at this year's main event. However, it's generally going to be probably disappointing.
If you enjoy the video and you like us, like our video.
And subscribe. And also, leave a comment in the comment section about what games you're playing, what you want to see at E3, and your general reaction to any of these news stories.